Hello, everybody. I'm really excited for the next installment of Leostream in the Wild. Today, we have with us our friends at Remote Picture Labs. So rather than having you stare at the screen, I'm going to switch over and we're just going to have a conversation. Before I do that, I do want to point out over on my interface, it's on the right, but you should see a questions box. So as we're talking through what Remote Picture Labs has done with Leostream and the challenges that they faced and the problems that they solved, feel free to type in questions as we go along and we'll get those answered for you. So let me switch over to presenters. Now I'm pleased to present to you Noah Gustorf. He is, and I hope I got that name right, he is the co-founder of Remote Picture Labs, and joining him is Eric Beauchamp. He is the CTO. So why don't we start off by going to you, Noah, and saying, so give us a little overview of Remote Picture Labs and what you do and how it's really unique in the industry.
Sure. So, I mean, that's the question I answer all day, every day is what is Remote Picture Labs? I'll go with the shortest version I can. We provide remote work from home edits or work from the office edit systems to studios, to streamers, to professional editors. It came to be because of the pandemic, but it's technology that we worked with for a while. It's a combination of two existing companies in the post-production space, Creative Mobile Solutions and JChem Digital. We've had this kind of long-standing relationship between the two companies where we work together all the time. And then when the pandemic hit, Creative Mobile, who's primarily in the live event and sports space, had no live events and sports to work on, and JChem, who's primarily in the scripted and high-end feature and episodic world, couldn't get onto the studio lots where their edit systems were. So we took the technology that we had and the client base that we had, kind of put it together and developed Avid and Premiere edit from home, and now hybrid edit from office, but really desktops delivered over the internet at the same quality that our clients are used to when the edit system's sitting under their desk. So we've seen really rapid adoption, really happy clients. And then that's what we're doing.
A lot of returning clients. Now we're at a point where we're actually getting into a subsequent season of productions that we started during COVID with Remote Picture Labs, and who have been very happy with the service and have come back now to do another season. So that's really exciting for us, and it just goes to show all the hard work and effort the team's put in. All the partnerships that we've been able to form with companies like yourselves and Leostream and the team over there, who've just been instrumental in making this such a seamless and high performance solution for our clients.
So do you think that trend, so these editors went home out of necessity, but it sounds like maybe that trend's going to stick around, and that's good for...
If you ask them, most of them are very pleased with the ability to work from home. So we'll see what happens long term. We've definitely broken down a lot of barriers as far as the proximity and where the team can be located. Geodiversity has become one of the major factors that we just didn't anticipate. We've got teams that are working between here and New York, Chicago, Texas, Vancouver, Calgary, and they're all working in the same shared environment, collaborating as if they were in the room, in the office studio rooms next to each other. It's phenomenal, and cat's out of the bag as far as that's going. And we're working hard to make sure that we can continue to provide a quality solution that grows with the need of our clients, and that we can continue to improve it as time goes on.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of apprehension at first from our clients, the editors and producers alike, where they thought, or they weren't sure if they would have to learn a new tool set, learn new skills, and change their way of working. And one of our core goals was to provide the same exact experience that they had when they were in the offices, down to the way that both Avid and Premiere function, and the way the storage functions, and also the picture quality and sound quality. We wanted all the collaboration to be there and every pixel to look just as good as it looked when they're in the office. And that's what we've been able to deliver, and that's what we're continuing to develop. And we're watching it, to Eric's earlier point, as shows are coming back for another season, now that this pandemic is really still going, we're seeing a lot of folks adopting the hybrid where they'll have some edit bays on a studio lot or in an office, and some editors work from home. And the power of our system really comes into play there, where, as Eric said, it's geodiverse. They can really be where they want to be and what makes sense for that production.
And one of the added benefits of this type of workflow, and even when we have editors working at an office, they can literally go home at the end of the day or split their time during the week, connect into the environment, and basically pick up exactly where they left off with the workstation, with the exact same tool set, the exact same desktop, and be able to slide between working from home, working from the office, and as a matter of fact, packing up a laptop and going on the road and being able to jump in and make changes and address notes from anywhere they're at.
And Eric, would you say that has something to do with the way that we're brokering the resources and how we're controlling those logins? Just wondering, Karen, if that's something you want to talk about.
At the beginning, we had a variety of different choices for a couple of our key features. Remote Picture Labs is a Teradici PC over IP environment. We're fully virtualized, data center based. And one of the things that we had to make a decision on right away was how we were going to provide secure and reliable connection brokering into the service. It doesn't sound very exciting, but let me tell you, we've reviewed a number of different solutions, and the Leostream connection brokering is miles ahead of everyone else.
Another key bullet point there is also auditable, because when you're dealing with studios, when you're dealing with the big media corporations, they want to know who's touching what when. So auditable was also another.
It gives us all of those metrics, all that information. We can see who's connecting from where, from what IP address, from what host machine, what time they connect, what time they disconnect. We can see all that information in real time and then review it through very powerful logging tools that are all part of the Leostream product suite. And not to mention the fact that anyone on our team can go in and view this information. It's like a single pane of glass to be able to view the connection brokering status of the whole environment. We sometimes see problems arising before our clients contact us because the logging tools are so good in the solution.
Oh, that's fantastic. Let's back up and kind of talk at the beginning of your journey. So you started looking at putting the solution together. What were some of the challenges that you were facing, and how did those kind of bring you to Leostream?
Sure. So where I said that Remote Picture Labs is a joint venture with between Creative Mobile Solutions and JChem, we had a lot of the technology, or the hardware and the framework was in place, because we were doing a number of live events, live sports, things that had to be on air. So we're well versed in data centers and infrastructure. And the virtualized workstations we had weren't all client facing at that point. So there was a lot of technical hoops to jump through, and also a lot of manual buttons to press and knobs to turn to work within our environment, which was great because we were all technicians servicing our clients, and the client never needed to log in and touch something for normal day to day. But when we started building something client facing, it had to be a lot more polished, it had to be a lot smoother. It also needed different requirements for identity management. So what we were able to do is really come up with a short list of solutions that were able to check all the boxes, were able to handle the identity management, make it seamless to the end user, and give us kind of that middle layer with a lot of functionality where as we were growing the environment, we could make a lot of changes to what happens after the user is authenticated without the user knowing that there's a lot going on behind the scenes. So that is really the story of how we got to Leostream as the solution. We took a look at what was available, and the identity through being able to change things live without the clients know that we are changing things live as we make expansions or add DR, and as we do a lot of things to the service, the login looks the same to the user, and the resource they end up with to do their work looks exactly the same and seamless. So in testing and auditioning everything else, I mean, Leostream was by far the most full-featured and smoothest product to deliver that.
Awesome. So now I always have to ask the question, how did you find us in the first place then?
We looked at the list. I mean, because Eric mentioned we're Teradici PC over IP based. So we went out and made that selection first based on our previous experience, and then seeing what works best for post-production. Once we had that in place, it was really who works well with Teradici. And then because we like to, you know, build a solution once that works with everything, it was Teradici is our primary, but is there a solution that works well with essentially everybody else on the market, or at least the major players? So that narrowed the list pretty quickly once we started Googling, talking to vendor or resellers, talking to peers that were in this space. And that's kind of what led us into Leostream. And then we were able to get a proof of concept running really quickly. We got some terrific support as far as directing us to how to stand it up very, very rapidly with the feature set we were looking for. And then once it was running, it was kind of like, okay, guys, how do we buy this? Because we already put it into production with the proof of concept. Once the proof of concept worked, we just kind of rolled it right to production, and we've been expanding on it.
Was of the essence, because there are some of the productions that we work on that really didn't have the opportunity to go down the live events, the real-time requirements, the mission critical broadcast productions that just had to go on, and we had to find a way to do it. And so it became, you know, while most of the scripted world was shutting down and taking a breath while we evaluated what was happening, we went to work, you know, full time, you know, long days, building solutions, testing things, labbing things out. It was actually quite a lot of fun. It's something I enjoy doing is that development side, that R&D. And yeah, Leostream just kept coming up over and over again. And, you know, you can't discount the versatility of it, whether we went with Teradici or another one of the remote solutions. Leostream seemed to have the bases covered as far as the ability to manage those connections for us.
Yeah, and it was really every time we turned a corner and thought we kind of had a solution, we'd either have a client bring to us another requirement or challenge, or we'd find something else that we wanted to tune and make more efficient. And it was kind of like, uh-oh, we better go back and see if Leostream can accommodate that. And then, yeah, the answer was yes. It was, I mean, whether it was LDAP or Active Directory or adding in Radius or whatever we were doing at that point in the process, it was like, oh, cool, there's a checkbox for that, or oh, there's a configuration I can configure. This growing with us.
When we encountered things that we needed to have customized or changed, I mean, the engineering team was great to work with us. They helped us quickly get builds tested and vetted and live running in the environment. It was great. So our clients never missed a beat. All that happened in real time while we were in full production.
Yeah, and also, I mean, to speak to the support, if we came, I mean, to this day, if we come across anything that either we don't understand or doesn't look right, support is great to work with. We're able to get the right logs, find the right data, and then they either tell us we've done something wrong, or they tell us, oh, okay, you'll have a
politely.
Sometimes it's us. And if it's not us, patches turn around really quickly if we've identified something that that needs to get changed. So I mean, it's really helpful to have a software manufacturer, for lack of a better term, that really acts like a partner and wants the feedback from us as we come up with either wacky ideas or we find things that function not exactly how we want them to.
So we like it when people find ways to use our products in ways that we hadn't even thought of, because the flexibility definitely allows you to do that. Let's talk a little bit about how you're using the product. So I know when we talked last time, I know security is a big factor for your customers. What are the different things that you built into the solution that targeted security?
Yeah, I mean, well, the great part is that most of the bases were covered in the software, and as we grew into it, we just kept enabling more and more of the functionality and features. The ability to tie it into a Radius server, our Active Directory. I mean, our proof of concept was really basic. It was, a lot of local user accounts and testing, and that quickly rolled into our identity management system, tying in with an Azure cloud-based Active Directory system, tying in with a Radius server that can manage two-factor authentication, MFA. I mean, it really is all the modules, all the components are there for us to be able to tie in our infrastructure and grow it the way that we need to be compliant with all the content security regulations that are about and that are needed in the world of M&E now.
Mm-hmm.
And we're doing just a countless number of productions that are just the review process and auditing and security is always a high priority with our customers. And so we're constantly being subjected to new questionnaires and new evaluations and remediations of things. And so having a product, a name like Leostream, it helps a lot. The companies are familiar with it. It checks all the boxes on the security side of things. And it's really allowed us to just move quickly into our remoted workflow.
Yeah, I mean, and also in that security chain, there's a lot of different vendor products that have to work well together. Because like Eric mentioned, there's Active Directory, there's Leostream. It has to all tie into the Teradici stuff, but then there's obviously a heavy layer of Microsoft Windows and other magic working in the background there. And Leostream is really the glue that synchronizes and ties all of that stuff together. And it really was kind of, for the most part, it was out of the box once we got the configuration set right and got all the pieces talking. I mean, the clients when our clients log into the system, my favorite part is that they log in, I know how many things happen after they type their password and hit enter, and they all work seamlessly all the time. And it's Leostream is, I mean, you can't come up with a better word than broker, but brokering all of that information back and forth and returning to the client like, oh, here's your Avid, here's your Premier. It just works. They don't know that we're able to adhere to all these standards and all these requirements going on in the background because Leostream's just kind of handling it for us.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, I always hear when I talk to people in your industry, it's like, you can't get in the creative's way. They need to be able to hit a button and do what they need to do.
No, I mean, that's been part of one of our talking points when we show the solution to a client that hasn't seen it before, is that our number one goal through everything that we develop and deliver to our clients is this edit bay should function just like the one that you're used to walking into in a post-production facility. It doesn't matter if it's in your spare bedroom or your house or whatever you have at home. We always tell our clients, like, let us know if this isn't exactly like what you're used to when you're on a studio lot. And I mean, the great part is that the Leostream technology doesn't really get in the way of the creative being creative. It's the only interaction they have with it is a username and password, and then it does all the hard work on the back end for them, and it doesn't slow anything down. It doesn't inhibit. It's seamless to the user.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Eric, you mentioned a use case earlier that I'd like to dig into a little bit more, and that was the fact that you have admins who can administer groups of machines. How did you configure that in Leostream, and what benefits has that brought for you?
Well, again, everything ties into our identity management system, our cloud-based Azure Active Directory. We're able to set up accounts, set up group policies, security groups that Leostream can read right out of our cloud Azure. It matches those against policies that we set up for particular productions and particular machines and makes the assignments. And we know 100% of the time that no user is ever going to get assigned to the wrong workstation in the wrong group. And so, we set up as many roadblocks for one production to be able to access another production's machine as possible. Even if there was a mistake on our end on the policy side, the way we have the network set up, it would try and connect, but it wouldn't be able to. But even if we did that, Leostream would tell us what was happening, and we would know that we'd made a mistake. And so we try and put all the checks and balances in place, but it's not even something we have to think about. We assign the privileges to the users, we assign them to their group and to their workstation, and the policies and the assignments in Leostream just work. They read that information, they make the assignments. It's not something we have to micromanage or change in the connection brokering.
Fantastic.
Really,
And
it's really elegant. It's and we've been utilizing Leostream now since basically April of last year, and everything in the environment has had issues where we'd have something would break or something we didn't get configured right. But the one thing that never broke was the connection brokering, which is so critical because it is in fact the gateway, the traffic cop to the entire realm. So
that's awesome. I love hearing stories like that.
And yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
And Eric can break anything. So
also, one of the when we're talking about use cases, I said we've grown with Leostream and how we used it. I mean, we went from at the beginning of the pandemic to just throwing hard drives full of media at our clients, which is probably the least secure way to operate, to building into infrastructure on site and then putting on-prem connection brokering so that they could get back up and running right away. Like one of our big pushes was from the Jimmy Kimmel Live show. They, did Jimmy Kimmel Live from home, but they have got a team of editors, a team of graphics people, a team of assistants, and everybody needs to be able to collaborate in the same media. And they don't have weeks or months to produce their content. From the time it's recorded to the time they have to insert everything and build the show and get it to air, we're talking about hours, if not less. Sometimes it's minutes. And so what ends up happening is we were able to basically recreate their whole environment using an on-prem connection brokering system right at the beginning of COVID and get them collaborating and working. And if it wasn't for Leostream, we would have never been able to so quickly execute that plan. And more importantly, get the whole process vetted and QC'd and approved by the big content security team over at Disney and ABC. So everybody worked really hard to get that done. And it was just such a big success that once we had done it there, we made it the heart and soul of our private cloud solution that's now data center based and fully virtualized, and now with our centralized connection brokering services, we can manage connections and security and privileges not just in our private cloud, but we can extend out to sites that we might be running on-prem solutions at racetracks and baseball stadiums and during football games. All the various different aspects of our workflow can now be controlled and centrally monitored through our large centralized Leostream deployment. It's so fascinating. We've never looked back on 2020 and realized that we'd be here. We all kind of thought that this might just be a short stopgap solution, but with Leostream as part of the process for us, we were able to make sure that what we were building would scale and continue to go into the future.
Now you can't live without it, right?
Yeah, true.
You mentioned monitoring, and I know the logging and the real-time administration is big for you guys, but what's important? What is it in the logging that you're learning that's so important?
Well, we can see how many users are connecting into our environment daily. We can see what their usage patterns are. We can see where they're connecting from, which is critical. If we have some connection coming from a location that we know is not vetted or secured, Obviously, we can investigate that further. Oh, so and so went on vacation and they're in New York, so that's why they're connecting from where they're connecting. Or we see all the any issues, any bad passwords, any authentication problems. We see them. We have an audit log. We review them, multiple times a day. So if we have any potential for an intrusion, this makes us well aware of it instantly, and we're able to make sure that we figure out, oh, it's not an intrusion thing. So and so forgot their password and now they're locked out of the system. So we can see when our customers are having problems, and we can actually reach out to them, and it kind of I think surprises them that we would actually contact them before they call the support line. And they're saying, I was just about to call you. I'm like, yeah, we know you're having a problem connecting, and we know why. We just want to, work with you to get it resolved. Without Leostream and all of the real time statistics we get, there's no way we'd be able to do that. One of our internal IT engineers had said something to us that it stuck with me from the beginning of this whole build, was that you want tool sets and monitoring that can tell you when your environment is broken before the clients do. And so that's such a key feature that we're able to get with this connection brokering and our relationship with Leostream.
That's very interesting. I think internally we spend so much time talking about the brokering piece that we don't as often look at the day two operation. So it's really interesting for me to hear how much it's helped you in all that in the subsequent part of the process.
Yeah, I mean, it really gives us those breadcrumbs that Eric is talking about to let us know what the user experience is. And just the other stuff that like I'll pull from it is when we know we need to have a maintenance window to do any kind of work. I mean, internally we'll discuss, will this impact all the users? Does it impact the portion of the users when we're looking to do any kind of expansion or maintenance work? And the information Leostream gives us, like Eric kind of touched on really briefly, is the login patterns of the users. We can get a really good snapshot of, okay, is everybody working 9 to 5, or is everybody really working a different time frame? And it's helping us to plan our maintenance around the least logged in hours so that we impact the smallest amount of users. And that's just like another piece of information that we're able to glean from what Leostream logs.
Oh, that's really interesting. I would never thought of that one either.
I mean, we didn't until we started asking the question internally, is like, where can we figure out like what our peak hours are? I mean, and there's a number of tools that we have that could help us find it. The Leostream one was the easiest place to grab it from, because it also is giving us information like, well, how long is a session? And if they're logged in overnight, like, are they actually doing anything? So there's a lot of information there depending on how you analyze it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so your end users are logging in from PC over IP0 clients, correct?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Well, when we started this, it was a lot of software clients because we had to get it going really quickly. Then, the reliability of the Zero client really came to the forefront. The ability to prepackage a whole, templated system and drop it off with 2, 3, 4 monitor support. Zero client is just an incredibly reliable way to do it. But we're super flexible. We also send out software kits so that our clients can leverage, some of the feature sets of a software client that are just not available on the Zero client setup. There's a little bit, it just gives us a ton of flexibility. And as far as Leostream is concerned, it doesn't matter. It just handles all of the connection seamlessly. So, but tells us, we know absolutely when someone's connecting via software client or when they're connecting via a hardware client. And there's a whole lot of depth that we haven't explored yet with Leostream. And there's all kinds of policies that we can set up to differentiate how those connections work. And so we look forward to continuing our learning with Leostream and being able to expand upon our usage with it and grow and really be able to find services in the product offering that we just haven't had a chance to delve into yet.
Yeah. So what is next? Where are you thinking of adding on?
Oh, I mean, we're a private cloud solution, but we're very likely going to continue to grow into perhaps multiple locations of our services. We're going to look to probably be pushing into public cloud, and uh, regardless of where that is, public cloud or private cloud, we're going to be able to continue to centrally manage all the services. So that's going to be key.
And I think in addition to that, just tacking on like things that are on our roadmap are internally increasing automation.
Yeah.
And the more automation we can put in place, the more efficiency and consistency we have. And with the things that Leostream kind of already has built in, we need to enable a bunch of it and take advantage of it. And then in addition to that, with the API availability, we're looking into a number of kind of more customized things that we can do with it as we're building and expanding on the rest of our automation infrastructure. But like Eric said, we're looking at a lot of different options of how to expand and better develop our service so that the clients, we're trying to anticipate what the client requests will be and be ready for that. And what it comes back to at the end of the day is the Leostream component still sits at the center of everything that we're building in the future, because it creates that seamless login experience, because that's what the user thinks their interaction is. But I mean, I know I've said it a couple of times, but there's a million things that happens once the user finishes their password, and that's where the Leostream part is invaluable. And that, like I said, getting into automation, that's what we're going to build on top of, like what actually Leostream talks to for us and what it can additionally broker out for us.
Right.
We like to say we help you future-proof your solution, and it sounds like we did.
So far, so good.
That's awesome. That's so good. So your end users are using PC over IP clients. You're obviously logging in through the web client so that you can administer desktops and set up your policies and everything. Do you have any other users that actually use the web client for logging in, or is it all the PC over IP?
Not yet. So it's one of the things that, we've been demoed some incredibly powerful tool sets that are a part of the ability to log in through the web console. I can automatically configure PCOIP sessions and do some really neat stuff. And so as far as the growth with Leostream is, we're looking forward to being able to expand into that realm. And very likely one day the front end of our connection services may very well be all through the web services presented through Leostream. Have our logo on it, but
yes, that's the great thing, is it's fully customizable.
All the branding and everything has been explored right off the bat. Very cool.
Yeah.
But everything from some of the simple stuff that we overlook, the ability to control the power management on our virtual environment, our virtual machines. When a client logs in, Leostream handles firing up the computer, getting all the services lined up and connecting. As far as the client knows, the machine was up and running and ready to go. But no, it was offline, and Leostream took care of getting it online and running for us. So that's something that is so simple, but so incredibly important.
And are you using any of the functionality to like monitor idle time and disconnect the user's session automatically based on that?
We probably will grow into that, but one of the things that we're doing right now for our clients that really differentiates us from a public cloud offering is that being a fully private cloud-based virtualized environment is that our clients don't have to feel afraid of leaving their systems running all day and all night. They're not getting billed by the hour on the clock, and so it's something that we knew we could control. And in an industry that already is dealing with a lot of changes as far as the way that things are being done during a pandemic, we didn't think it was going to be feasible to try and change the entire model for for them on the budgetary side.
Mhm.
So at this point, our clients control when their VMs are on and off, and we don't limit them. We don't tell them, oh, if you're idle for an hour, we shut you down. We make sure those resources are available to them 24/7, just like if they were in an edit office or in a studio office. And so, maybe as we expand into the cloud, doing public offerings, if clients are interested in that, we'll obviously need to grow into those services. And we know that all of that capability is there. We see all the options and all the checkboxes every time we go into the system, and we know we could enable it in a heartbeat.
Mhm. That kind of touches on the question that was just there, was somebody was using, if you were using the logging to figure out how to bill, and I think that comes into play in the cloud because you want to know the number of hours. But
Yeah, and I was just going to jump into that question there because Eric really touched on it. I'll just kind of put it out there in black and white about the way our service works. Is one of the reasons we're running private cloud is because of the runaway costs that exist in public cloud. And what we found is a lot of the producers, the executive producers, the decision makers that we are working with are not fully versed yet at this point on all of the costs with the public cloud and how everything is really kind of like a meter that is constantly running based on consumption. So the way that our service is structured is we built it out like the traditional edit bay in the Hollywood world is built for. We have weekly and monthly rates that are fixed fee. We're not a consumption basis like the public clouds are. So it is fixed weekly and monthly fees, and you can leave your virtual edit system on 24 hours a day, and it doesn't increase your cost.
All ingest, egress charges are all calculated and built into the environment. So if you're a production that needs to upload terabytes of data a day, and we do have productions that are plowing in, 5, 6, 10 terabytes of data through our high-speed transfer services, and then sending out deliverables through those same types of services, you're not getting billed on a per gigabyte rate. And so again, something that we just wouldn't be able to do in a public cloud offering at this point.
Exactly. Yeah. For the producers out there taking notes, yeah, it's all fixed fee. You can budget with it. That was the feedback that we got from pretty much everybody we were talking to early on, was like, we have these budgets for post-production for our shows. We can't put a variable in it. We have to have fixed numbers. So that's what we were striving to build a solution around also.
oh, that's fantastic. Let's see. I had another question, and then a dog barked outside, and I've just lost it. That's what happens when you work from home, right? So I have to. Sorry, I'm on mute. I have to ask because, of course, I love hearing you mentioned Jimmy Kimmel Live. Are there any other names you can share with us, like places Leostream got you?
Well, we do have one other. Again, we were in production with a lot of work when the pandemic happened, and our goal was to transition our teams into being able to, a lot of this material was already shot, and the season for the shooting schedule had already wrapped. They had air dates, they had delivery dates that they needed, mix dates and online sessions and everything that was already pre-booked and pre-laid out, and now they're not able to edit the show. So one of the ones that jumped in with us right away was really our first real scripted episodic series was Mayor of Easttown with HBO. They went from working at our offices on-prem in a traditional setup to a few days of working on a hard drive at home and just to get their momentum back. And then we had their entire environment cloned into the Remote Picture Labs virtualized environment, and they just connected in and picked up editing right where they left off. It was truly a great experience for us and for them to be able to see a team still be able to work and collaborate, and then leverage resources to be able to work with remote directors and producers. It was really powerful and kept everybody safe in a time of much uncertainty. So
Right. Yeah. And I remembered what my question was from before. So it sounds like you have users, they're coming and going kind of constantly. And it sounds like maybe, hopefully, Leostream makes it easy for you to make sure that once a user's done with the project, that they can't log in and access anything anymore.
absolutely, yeah, we see that all the time. A lot of times we have equipment on site, a full turnkey solution with height adjustable desks and big monitors, and our team goes out and picks up that equipment. We see the machine gets shut down, so we know that, in addition to we knowing that today's the wrap day, we know that the equipment was picked up at 12:34 p.m. The system was shut down, and it's just a couple of mouse clicks to disable that. And then we get to see if, in fact, they come back for more. They're like, oh, our equipment's gone. We need to get into that machine again. And I see that you're trying to log in. So let's make sure that this is all on the up and up, and then we'll get your account reactivated just as quickly and easily. And with the flexibility of using a software client, that you're able to get back in and get working again, and finish off those finishing touches that they just, for whatever reason, weren't able to complete. The other flexible things that this system has been able to do is we actually have teams that are running on multiple projects, an editor and assistant editor that may be running 2 shows, and with the power of our environment and the abilities that their connection brokering lists, is they get a list of resources. Okay, we're obviously not going to share resources between productions. They're each going to have dedicated editing environments, from start to finish. There won't be any equipment shared except for the remote client. So when they log in with their secure credentials, they're given a list of the resources available, and then they can connect to each production separately and work on those independently of each other. It's really powerful. The flexibility that we can set up in the policies is like unending.
Yeah, I think we have a couple producers that have taken advantage of that too, where if they're a supervising producer and they need the ability to log in to multiple edit bays that they're utilizing from us, they can have a list of 5, 6, 10, 20 edit bays that they're utilizing on our platform, and they can choose which one to log into at any time, and then their editors only see the one that is assigned to them. So it's very powerful, and since we can change everything on the fly and so quickly, if a new editor gets added or an editor leaves a show, it's very easy for us to make those changes and have them take effect immediately.
Fantastic. So here's your chance to let us know what did you wish was in the project? What could have been easier? What could we do to make your life even better?
Oh man, that's a good question.
I know I didn't prep you for this one. Sorry.
That is a difficult one. We've been so busy focusing on what we're doing to get through this week, that we haven't really put together a big wish list for Leostream yet. But there are definitely some things we'd love to see Leostream's ability to integrate with our Azure Active Directory, or maybe it does, and we just need to learn more about it. We want to be able to make those more tightly integrated, so that information and all of the identity management and data flows both directions from our Active Directory in the cloud to our connection brokering within Remote Picture Labs. We'd love to see that ability strengthen and become more feature rich, and so it might be something that we would love to push on and learn more about as it becomes available.
Yeah, and I think just since automation is my favorite word this month, I think some of the things that we're looking to get into place is just even tighter integration with all the systems that we currently use. So when our sales team books a project, that information is in a web-based system. I'm working to get that pushed across all of our systems without having to do double entry and without having to send 8,000 emails. So there's the potential where when we book a project, all of that client information is in there, all of everything, what they've ordered is in the system. Getting that talking to Leostream to help kick off automation or be in the middle of automation of prepping machines and allocating resources, pulling times and dates and all of that to go live. That's stuff that's sitting on a whiteboard in the back room of the office here of ideas that we have. So we know some of the pieces are there, some of the pieces may not be there, but yeah, I'm always looking at what can I make the machine do, what can I make the software do to eliminate something that takes human time if we can come up with a smarter way to do it.
Awesome. Fantastic. So you're looking forward to our 9.1 release with the API coming out then, huh?
That's the key word right there. The API.
Nice, nice, nice. Fantastic. Well, I'm going to wrap it up here. So I'm going to thank you, but don't go just yet. So thank you so much for talking. Before, I'm going to flip back to slides. So before I do, everybody wave, say goodbye to the crowd. And then, no, I want to give you a chance. I want to show this slide because I think it gives such a cool, you can see the setup there that's in someone's house. And of course, there's a dog. So that's always good.
Yeah, this is a really cool setup. And actually, one of the first productions that we had brought online very early on. You know, an editor well respected and incredibly experienced in the industry, and we wanted to give him that exact same studio feel. So we made sure that we had that offering ready: the height adjustable desks, the ability to support his tablet, his Wacom tablet, the same monitors on all the nice arms and all the cable management that we would normally set up at the studio. We make that available to our teams at home.
Yeah, I mean,
looking up to his big 55-inch OLED TV back there.
Yep, I didn't want to miss the big screen there because that's another thing to point out. This is one of our Zero clients, like Eric said, on the height adjustable desk, powering a 3-monitor Avid system. So if you've got your traditional bin monitor, your source and record, your timeline, and your client monitor all in front of him on the desk, and then we're taking another feed and putting it on that giant OLED that he has on the wall. You can't really tell in the picture, but that is a 55-inch screen, and it's all powered remotely.
Yeah, and this is an editor that has now been on multiple projects with us. So we're so pleased to have been able to continue working with him and allow to keep providing a solution that's so well suited for his workflow and his day-to-day needs.
And it seems like he's got a really cool dog. I love that.
Yeah, that's my favorite part, honestly.
Dog's had the best life over the last year. Well, that is phenomenal. I kind of want one for my house, even though I wouldn't know how to use Avid. But and I just, since you guys aren't pointing out, I will point out the contact information there. If anyone wants to learn more, please do reach out to them. It's a great solution that they have there. We're thrilled at Leostream to be a part of it. It has been an absolute pleasure talking to the two of you, and definitely feel to reach out to us if you think of more things you need. If anyone else out there in the crowd listening in wants to give Leostream a try for themselves, we do have free trials. You can contact us. And with that, I will wish everyone a fantastic day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You have a great day.
Bye-bye.